Welcome to the weekly shir, the Zera Shimshon. This is Parshat Eikev. It's Chaf Aleph Menachem Av. It's a Shem. This week we'll be celebrating Parshat Eikev. We're getting closer to Rosh Hashanah. So I'm going to pick a piece here in English because it's so geshmak I couldn't resist. And another segula. Okay, so it says in the Zera Shimshon, V'haya Eikev Tishma'un, his pasuk, he's reading, V'haya Eikev Tishma'un, es ha-mishpatim ha'elam v'shmartam v'asisim ha'isam v'shamar Hashem alakecha l'cha es ha-bris, es ha-chesed asher nishba la v'secha v'yahevcha v'yiracha v'yirbecha v'yirach pri v'itnecha pri v'admasecha, etc. It's pasuk Zion and Eikev. And it will be, because you will heed these ordinances and keep them, that Hashem, your God, will safeguard for you the covenant and the kindness that he swore to your forefathers. He will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will bless the fruit of your womb, the fruit of your soil, etc., etc. A lot of blessings. Okay, so he says in the Zera Shimshon, there is no reward for the mitzvahs that we do in this world. Skar mitzvahs b'hai alma-leika, the Gemara in Kiddushin says, we do the mitzvahs today and we receive your reward tomorrow. Gemara in Eruvin 22. That's the meaning in the world to come. Tomorrow is the world to come. These words of Gemara make it clear that we shouldn't expect to be rewarded for the mitzvahs that we do in Olam Hazeh. Yet the verse in Parshat Eikev seems to be saying otherwise. It says, he will love you, he will bless you, and the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your soil, etc., etc. How do you explain that? Is there a contradiction? The answer, Zera Shimshon says, is when a person does only mitzvahs that he has to do, his reward will be given to him in the world to come. No, he's medaktik b'mitzvahs. He does exactly what he's supposed to do, not 1 ounce more. However, if a person sets his mind to doing more than is expected of him, living the light of a chassid, right, to do extra things, mischasidim kainai, striving to go above and beyond, heaven will treat him in the same way and grant him a little portion of his reward, even in this world. So, and this is the meaning of the words. It says, V'haya Eikev Tishma'un. It will be because you will heed these ordinances. Why does it have to say? The Torah could just have easily written, V'haya Im Tishma'un. What does it mean, Eikev? Because of the word Eikev, because the word Eikev indicates that someone is doing mitzvahs all the time with true geshmak. And as the Tehillim says in 119, Kufyutes, it says, Erz no Eikev, I shall keep your statutes in every step. Oh, Eikev being the kadnik with keva, right? Means doing something on a regular basis. Such a person will receive all the blessings mentioned in the pasuk. Zera Shimshon has yet another approach, this time paying attention to the word ha-mishpatim, the ordinances, that is singled out in the first verse of this parsha. Mishpatim are the commandments that moral people would strive to follow, even if they were not commanded to do so. Okay? That is... Mishpatim they make sense from a logical perspective, and people relate to them because we want our world to be a safe place. Like not murdering, not stealing, not doing things of sexual orientation that are not permitted. No. Do not keep the Mishpatim because you understand them and they make sense to you. Okay, strive to keep them because the Rebbeinu Shalom commanded them, not just because you feel morally correct. When you reach that level, the pasuk says, we will love you and bless you and multiply you. Why does it work that way? Simple. The way you act is the way you will be treated. So is the Gemara in Megillah. Since you made it your business to fulfill every single law of Hashem, and you obeyed those mitzvahs because you are part of the Torah and because Hashem told you so, you will be granted reward in this world as well. This is why the pasuk specifically promises rewards such as children and parnasa, benefits that are blatantly necessary for the continuation of the world. When a person makes a conscious decision to do the mitzvahs because Hashem said so and not for any other reason, because the world needs them, not because the world needs them or because they make a sense, doesn't matter. He will be recompensed with necessities that are imperative for the world's continuation. In other words, with beautiful rewards that make perfect sense and that will cause him great happiness. All right, and the segula here this week is in much the same way that as Frum Yidden, we should always be trying for better and better mitzvah observance. Elul's coming. Okay, and the same thing is true regarding our relationship with the Gedolei Yisrael, both those who are still alive and those who have since passed. The Zera Shimshon is a prime example of a gadol with whom many Yidden have a genuine relationship even now, hundreds of years after his passing. The following letter was written to Rabbi Israel Zilberberg. Dear Rabbi Yisrael, I was first introduced to the Sefer Zera Shimshon in the book Moments, the first volume in the Moments series written by Rav Nachman Seltzer. After I read about the Sefer, I found myself excited by what I had learned and decided to get a hold of the Sefer myself and learn from it. I learned the Sefer regularly, and Baruch Hashem, within a short time, I saw incredible Yeshuas in my life, my personal life. Living as I do in Europe, I wasn't sure how many people knew about the Sefer, how popular it was. But the longer I learned the Sefer, the clearer it became to me that I shouldn't just learn it myself, but I should do my best to share this treasure with other people. I therefore began sending out weekly email to a list of people who I knew would enjoy a good piece of Torah. I decided to begin writing a weekly email on Hanukkah and sat down to write the first one a few days later, which I sent out at Erev Shabbos. Now it happens that I have a daughter who had gotten divorced a while before, and I've very much wanted her to see her find a shidduch, so that she could have another chance of fulfilling her dreams. While it was true that I was already learning the Sefer and could have claimed that this was enough, I wanted to do something more. Okay? To tip the scales, as it were, for the schus of my daughter. Weeks and then months went by, and though at first nothing happened, my daughter did get engaged over a year, and a year after I first began writing the weekly emails. One Motzei Shabbos, we were sitting around the table enjoying the Lava Malka when we started discussing the events that had led up to the shidduch. My son-in-law told us about some of the things that happened during his first marriage. I made the decision to get divorced and to move on with my life, he said, on Hanukkah. We separated a few days later and got divorced shortly afterwards. Rabbi Yisrael, I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that day, my son-in-law had made the decision to move on with his life was the exact same day that I made the decision to begin writing the weekly emails about the Zera Shimshon. The whole situation was especially interesting to me since I'd been learning and teaching the Sefer for so long without anything happening. But when my son-in-law told me his side of the story, I suddenly understood that I was mistaken. And that the Yeshua had already begun as soon as I took the first step. Naturally, I knew that I needed to share this story with you and all the people who care about the Zera Shimshon and affirmed his legacy to more and more Yidden over the world. Sincerely yours, he writes, then should we have slacha and in your avodas hakodesh, and may all your extra mitzvahs be paid off with great rewards. Have a good Shabbos, everybody. Kol Tov, Eikev.